And welcome back, everyone. This is Radio Free Market, and I am your host, Michael McKay. And with me today is Mr. Joe Seehusen, and we are enjoying our exclusive interview with Dr. Ron Paul. You've just listened to the first segment of that interview, and in a few minutes we will be airing the second segment. For the next couple of minutes, I would like to ask you, Joe, a couple of questions that Dr. Paul touched on in this first segment. What do you think about Ron Paul running for president in 2012? Do you think he could win?
I do. I think it's real. I think there was a recent Rasmussen poll. They're a very accurate pollster that did a one-on-one matchup between Barack Obama and Ron Paul, and it came out as a statistical dead heat, kind of a 42 to 41 outcome. Who would you prefer to be? Who would you want to be president? And that should rattle the foundations of the political status quo. I think as more and more people as they look at what's going on economically here, at the debt level in America, this new Greek, now basically pan-European bailout of $1 trillion, they realize that something is amiss. The country's off track. And really the new voice, the fresh voice, the voice that hasn't been heard is the voice of Dr. Ron Paul, because he's talking about a phrase you've coined, Michael, reality economics. It's the economics that won't go away no matter how hard we wish it. So I do think, particularly as young internet-savvy people are getting involved, they're telling their parents, I think Dr. Paul's star is rising.
Okay. Well, you have your ear to the political ground. Do you see a growing awareness about the Fed and fiat money and legal tender laws and the root causes of inflation?
I do, and I think the average American is kind of getting a sense that the politicians are playing it a little fast and loose. A year and a half ago, no one knew what $1 trillion was. They still don't. Mm-hmm. But with increasing frequency, we're hearing the $1 trillion word, $1 trillion bailout bantied about, and people may not understand all of that, but they understand something's amiss. They're looking into the Fed. They're seeing that it's controlled by a small number of people. It is shrouded in secrecy, and yet it is seminal to what's going to be happening to not only our future, but really our children's future in terms of this aggregation of runaway debt. So absolutely, I think people are becoming more tuned in. They're learning. Shows like your show are making a difference. I know you have a new book out, Michael, which I have read. It is outstanding. It's called Secrets About Money That Put You at Risk. And it is really the basic things about money and wealth that most folks don't know and probably do not know. I learned quite a bit. It's really written for the layman. And, hey, it's on Amazon. I encourage your listeners to check it out.
Well, thanks for the plug, Joe. But let me make a comment on that most folks, you made the comment about trillion, most folks don't realize that $1 trillion is a million. And this is a very significant thing for people to realize that last week, a week or so ago, there was a big dive in the stock market, and of course, they're not really talking about, they haven't really come to a conclusion as to what the actual cause of it was in just a matter of a couple of minutes when you yourself told me you were watching the screen and watching the stock market fall 1,000 points. One of the immediate stories that floated around was that somebody hit the button that was for $1 billion instead of $1 million. And I heard Dr. Paul actually ask the question, what would have happened if they would have hit a T instead of a B? And in other words, there is a important understanding about the nature of where we're at with our economics and how it works and just the scale of the problem that we're working with right now. Everett Dirksen was famously quoted as saying that $1 billion here, $1 billion there. Pretty soon you're talking about real money. And that was back, 40 years or so ago. And now we're talking about literally 1,000 times a billion. And that's a very worrisome trend for me. Let me ask you, do you see a growing number of new politicians that are entering into the field that are more freedom-oriented and more deeply schooled in reality economics?
You know, I really do, and of course on a national level we're familiar with names that are associated with that to varying degrees and have been involved in the Tea Party, and we know most of those names. Out in my neck of the woods, there are people running for office for the first time, a congressional race, a fellow named Charles Lawler, a new
This
fresh
is in
face,
Maryland, right?
Maryland, and doing a fantastic job of promoting freedom, constitutional values, sound money. Baltimore County, Steve Bailey, a rising star, is running a great campaign at a county level. So I think certainly there are going to be leaders emerging that we have not yet seen on the national level, but as or more importantly in many ways, at the county level, at the district, at the state level, you're seeing more and more regular folks that haven't considered getting involved in politics, seeing what's going on economically, seeing what's going on politically, and raising their hand and saying, hey, I'm willing to step in for a term or two to really kind of fix this critical problem.
Well, thank you for those comments, Joe. Now, folks, I want you all to stay with us. We're going to be taking a little break, and when we get back, we'll continue with our interview with Dr. Ron Paul. And so please stay with us, and we'll be right back. Thank you very much for listening. This is Radio Free Market. We'll be right back.